Hey guys, this is Comic and finally I'm doing a Mako Mermaids Season 2B review. I reviewed every episode of Mako Mermaids, as they've been released with Netflix, and also give you guys a little update. We had an interview with the creator of Mako Mermaids and some of the mermaids themselves on Media Madness. I'll have a link for that, and it seems like you guys have been enjoying it. I had a blast with it, and I thank everyone that came to the interview and obviously helped us set up the interview. Thank you so much. It's so great to be part of this community of Mako Mermaids. A really cool television community here. But let's talk about this Season 2B episodes. We last left off in Season 2A with Zach finding out that he is a full mermaid, not just a land boy. His parents were mermen and mermaids. So he also found out that Mimi was his sister. So this season is very much about acceptance. Acceptance of Zach being a full mermaid, or full merman. I would say even Evie accepting her mermaid side. And even, the mermaids accepting the land side of everything. It's just a whole second half of just accepting themselves and, what they changed into and, dealing with that. I will say that's really what this whole season is about. And then towards the end, we get a little bit more into the mythology, where we get to see the Trident cave. That it's his destiny to open it. We know this has been a big thing since, I will say, even Season 1. Now he has to decide, what does it do, A, and B, what does he do? Does he, get tempted to go there? And of course, Will, he thinks he's doing the right thing, and he wants Zach to use the Trident Cave, and he'll do anything and everything in his power to open it. And by the end of the episode, by the last episode, he does do so, and becomes the antagonist. And I will talk about the interesting dynamic of Will becoming the antagonist of the show. And towards the end, we get to see the last couple of parts. We do see some people find out that mermaids exist, including David and Carly. David, by the end, the last couple of minutes, very H2O throwback, which I'll talk about. And Carly finding out a couple episodes before, and, getting an interesting love interest with Cam. And Cam even exploring himself, and again, accepting himself as a regular human being and not a merman. So that's also his journey. And that's pretty much where we have in this show. It's very much an ending. It feels like a complete ending because, Evie gets her moon ring, the pod comes back, the cave is broken. Where do they go from here? And people know, some humans know that mermaids exist. So this is pretty much the whole summary of the season. Now, I'm going to go character by character because I think that's the best way to really review this season. And I want to start with Zach. I think Zach is a character. Well, one thing that was interesting about this season, or this back half of the season, is that it really is not a concentration on Zach. I will say it's more of a concentration on the three mermaids, Mimi, Andina, and Serena. I will say it's definitely has more one-shot episodes with them. It's more of a comedic half of the season. I think they discovered a lot with the mythology, Evie becoming a mermaid, finding out that Zach is adopted. I think there's a lot more of those story twists and turns in the first half of the season. Here we're getting some more of the comedic stuff. And I have to say that was a breath of fresh air. As much as I love the mythology of this show and digging into the plots, I think it was really entertaining, especially because the actors are so great on the show. The comedic elements here, and I think they just worked off each other really well. And there was a lot of times I just laughed out loud here with some of the certain situations they came into throughout the whole second half of the season. So again, it was just much more comedic, and I really enjoyed that with the second half. But still, digging into the mythology as we get towards the end of the season, or end of Season 2B. So going back to Zach, what I really liked about Zach here is, again, his acceptance of himself, of being a merman. And, what I've always liked about Zach as a character is that he wants to do the best for everybody, and he really tries to do so. He's like, yeah, I am a merman, sure, but I want to protect the mermaids. I want to do best for everybody. He truly is trying to do this throughout the whole season. Of course, he has these temptations, but in the end, he always goes out doing the right thing. It's very much of this hero, I mean, because I read comics, it's very of this hero perspective. So love that about Zach. And again, he wasn't in this back half of the season that much, but the things that he did do in this season really proved himself as a character. So I want to talk about the three mermaids now, of course. I think, one thing, of course, with this season 2 is that we have new mermaids. We have Mimi, we have Ondina, and now Serena will be leaving after season 2. I think her and Will are the only ones not returning for next season. Maybe David? I don't know. Don't quote me on the David part. But I know Serena is not returning for the next season. So with Serena, I feel they had a really great way to end her story. She's always been the one I felt like that is more used to land. She liked being on land, especially her relationship with David. And I loved her ending, because again, it's such a throwback to H2O. When Emma tells Ash that, hey, I'm a mermaid, and he's just like, cool. And I felt like that was such a throwback. And there's actually a lot of throwbacks throughout this whole season, or this half of the season. Mimi joining the Marine Park, the Siren episode, and I feel like they just did it better here. It's like things that were introduced in H2O were just done so much better in this in this half of the season. Again, going back to the Siren episode with Serena, making it more mythology based. The Marine Park, connecting that to Phoebe Tonkin's character as Cleo in H2O. So really enjoyed that part, and I really like that David ended up finding out in the end. I don't know how that's going to play out in season 3 because I don't know what they're going to do with David's character now that Serena's leaving, and I'm upset that Serena's leaving because she's such a great character, but I'm sure the next mermaid will be very fun also. But that was just a great ending to Serena. I think they really closed the chapter for her, which I was very happy about. And Ondina and Mimi, they just have great chemistry. Just great comedic chemistry here, and seeing their friendship really grow throughout this half of the season, and them growing into being land people. Ondina, enjoying and having a relationship with Will, and then Mimi, working at the Marine Park. It just made them more connected to the land, and it's cool to see that transition. Again, the acceptance of being on land. It's very much a season of acceptance. So that was very cool moments for the mermaids, and there's a lot of episodes with them concentrating on the three mermaids more than the other characters here. Now I want to let's talk about Will. Will was a really interesting villain. I really liked Will this season because you knew he might be a villain since the beginning of season 2 in his introduction, but what I like about a good villain, and John Barrowman from Arrow says this, and he said this in the past, and I totally agree. A good villain is a villain who does not know they're a villain. And that's exactly Will's perspective. Is he a villain? I don't know. He's definitely an antagonist, but he wants to do the right thing. You could tell he wants to do the right thing. He's just very torn. Zach is the hero because, yeah, he is torn, but he does the right thing anyways. Will, he's just like, I want to do both. And that's what makes him such an interesting antagonist in this season. I think one of their best antagonists from both H2O and Mako Mermaids, right next to Cam, because he was kind of antagonist from season 1, he's just really well done. Because again, he's not a villain, he's just an antagonist. And they did it very well here. So that's something I really enjoyed. Now Evie. Evie is my favorite character of the show, and it grew so much since season 1, but season 2, great character, and really enjoyed Evie's character because again, acceptance, and she's accepting that she's a mermaid, and she wants to learn more. And I think one thing I love about this show, and rarely that any show does this, is that Zach and Evie are such a settled relationship. And most TV shows, they want drama. So they'll be like, oh, here's a love triangle. They break up. They come back together. But because Zach and Evie are kind of going through the same thing, they make each other stronger. And that's what I loved about this season. I love about their relationship. It's not about like, oh, here's a love triangle. Let's make this drama happen. It really is about helping each other. And you can tell that they love each other. And it's just such a a settled relationship, and I really enjoyed that about Zach and Evie, and you really see that, especially in the birthday episode for the season. So that's something I really enjoyed about Evie and Zach this season. And yeah, I would say my only problem really, because I loved Evie's character, and this is just a nitpick because I really love her character. Towards the end, we have the last episode where she could have done a little bit more with her powers, because everyone's affected by one of the spells, and she's not affected because she's not a full mermaid. I thought she could have used her powers a bit more because she does get the moon ring in the end. I was like, I want her to utilize her powers to really show that, I mean, she does deserve the moon ring, but to really show she deserves it. So that's my minor nitpick really out of everything, because I thought this was a very good half of the season. But yeah, Evie was great. Loved her acceptance, loved her relationship with Zach. And last characters here is Carly and Cam. Carly was great this season. You know, a character that could totally be a background character really came to life in this second half. She got a lot of screen time, which I'm happy about, and she found out about mermaids and was so cool about it. And I love her relationship with Cam. I think it's great. And I love, my favorite episode definitely is when she finds out, because I love those type of episodes, and I think it was so fun and great. So yeah, Carly was definitely one of the MVPs of this season, or this second half of the season, because I'm excited to see what happens now that she knows. A couple more episodes with that, hopefully in season 3, and you know, being part of the gang a bit more. And then Cam, his development this season, a round of applause to that, because he was always, you know, he was good friends with Zach, but he was the antagonist in season 1, and season 2 is about building up their friendship again, building up that trust. And then when Cam, with the Trident Gem, when he does not give it to Will, even though he could have gotten everything he wanted, he said, you know, maybe in a life I wanted to be a merman, but I'm cool with being this because of Carly. I'm cool with being just me, and I like that he is going to be that human character. We need him to stay that human character. So Cam has grown so much as a character. So overall, it's such a great character building half of the season. I will say that's more than the mythology this half of the season. Mythology was more in the first half, and the second half is more about character building. And it was just wonderful, and I can't wait for season 3. I know we're going to probably have to wait a little while for it, but really enjoyed this half. Hopefully you guys did too. And if you haven't heard about the show, go check it out. It's on Netflix. And thank you guys for watching. Great half, and hopefully you guys enjoyed. So this is Comic Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. Don't forget to like my Facebook page. Also, description below, there's links for my comic book, Like Father Like Daughter. And don't forget to like the Facebook page of Like Father Like Daughter. I'll see you guys later. Bye.